Hey, what's up guys? Travis Fulton here and welcome to Online Gainz. Each week, I'm gonna be sharing with you real insight on how I'm developing players all across the world on full swing, short game, and putting. Be sure to tune in. All right, hey, Ricky Travis here. Thanks for the videos. And I want to give you some feedback here on your putting stroke, starting with face on. And so I think when you look at this putting stroke, the first thing that I want to do is I'm gonna draw a line right there and see where that putter shaft is returning, which you can see pretty darn good, really. Your putting stroke definitely is what we would consider kind of a 1-to-2 ratio, meaning that when you look at the backstroke and you look at the putter head there and then you look at it through, you can see that the through stroke is definitely, let's say, twice as long as the backstroke, thereabout. One of the things that might be of interest to you here is to reverse that a little bit more. Try to get the backstroke to be a little bit longer back and then a little bit shorter through. One of the things that would offer you, I think, is the ability to keep that left shoulder a little bit lower through the strike. You can see your left shoulder is definitely kind of elevating and then your head kind of backs up. Okay, so there's a little bit of kind of up with the shoulder, head maybe kind of falling back to the right. And that can cause some issues from time to time on centerness of contact. You catch it low on the face. And you counter that with maybe at times the putter head kind of taking on too much of an acceleration phase at times. Maybe distance control starts to struggle as well. And so what you see now a lot is you see players taking it back a little bit longer, they take it back with more pace, and then they let the putter head kind of cruise to a lower finish. And so the putter head tends to kind of take on a even speed through impact. And with the lower finish, the centerness of contact tends to be a little more consistent as well. And now I think the net effect of that up to your left shoulder is the left shoulder can kind of stay down and then the head can stay a little bit more centered. So I want to keep that in mind and I want to go to the other view next. Now obviously we're just looking at 2D video here and kind of taking the camera angles into consideration. I do, in watching you hit strokes, it does look like the path of your putter head is moving pretty darn good. There's a lot of good stuff there. I'm certainly okay with a left hand low type of grip. It does appear you've got the toe of the putter head up a little bit. And so I'm gonna encourage you to make sure that that is fairly flat. And I'm gonna show you a couple things here at address that might kind of help your posture as well. You kind of look maybe a little bit rounded out and hunched down, which again is not the end of the world. But I am gonna show you just a couple things here with your posture. And I am gonna recommend that you do stand the putter shaft a bit more upright. And I am gonna recommend that the putter shaft is a touch more forward at address too. All right, so I'm gonna show you those things at address. Now I think outside of that, I am going to show you in this video how to kind of lengthen out the backstroke with more pace and then give it a little shorter finish. And I think the net result is going to be improved contact. And then I think as you work on it, I think it'll definitely help you with distance control. I would imagine your line's pretty good. And so I think what I'm gonna show you is gonna really help you with contact and just kind of feel and distance control. And I do think it'll have some value on start line too. So hang tight, I'm gonna show you a video here of what I want you to do. Good stuff here, you got a lot of good things going. All right, so at address, couple things to consider before I get to the stroke, which I think will help you the most. I think the first thing is if you want to, when you create a little bit of hip hinge at address, if you want to try to clean up that back just a little bit and not be so kind of hunched down in here, I would encourage you to try to get a little bit of space in here where it's hip hinge, kind of get the back a bit straighter, and then you have a little bit of space in here. Just make sure you're not crowding it and getting kind of too hunched down. Not, again, not the end of the world, but something to consider as far as cleaning that up. I think from there, as we work on the stroke, ball position, I wouldn't mind seeing it move back just a fraction, about a half a ball, with the putter shaft just slightly forward. Okay, so that ball comes back just a bit with the putter shaft just slightly forward at address. And then I think as you go back to this target line view and you look at what we did here, the putter shaft probably just a bit more upright. Make sure that toe isn't kicked up too much. Looks like the toes might be a little too far up. I'd like to see that soled nice and flat, and I think to do that, the putter shaft probably a bit more upright with the kind of the spine cleaned up a little, got space, and then half a ball back from where you were with just a gentle lean in the putter shaft forward, just a little. Okay, so that's where I would go at address. Now, in the stroke, I would try to get this to be a little bit more of a 2-to-1 ratio. A little bigger back and then a little shorter through. It's not exact, it doesn't have to be exactly 2-to-1. But right now you can see your putter head goes back to here and then it goes through a lot longer. That lead shoulder looks like it wants to elevate a little bit. The head looks like it wants to back up a little bit. So if you took it back a little longer back, shorter throw. Longer back, shorter throw. More of a 2-to-1 ratio. As you stretch out the backstroke, the pace of the putter head will pick up a little bit. A bit more brisk. So it'll be more pace loaded in going back, a little longer stroke, and then a shorter finish through. That'll get the putter head to be a little bit more kind of, let's say, cruise control. It won't go through such an abrupt kind of accelerating profile, right? It'll be a bit more cruise control through the strike. The other thing is that finish will get much shorter, which I think will be a very good thing for you because the lead shoulder will then want to hang in there a little bit longer. It won't want to elevate. And I think as you sense this lead shoulder kind of hanging in there just a bit lower, a bit more back versus up to that shorter finish, it'll probably feel like you're hitting down on it. It'll probably feel like you're hitting down, but you won't be, okay? So don't be alarmed if it feels like, boy, it's very low, kind of a downward attack angle. It's not, it's probably just more level. And it's certainly not gonna feel like it's, you know, more up. Longer finish and more up. So get in there, take some strokes where it's longer back, shorter through. Let the putter head start to take on a little more pace going back so it can be more cruise control coming through. And as you're doing that, start feeling that lower finish where that left shoulder starts to hang in there and not pop up. And as it starts to hang in there and work more back, you'll feel like your head will stay more centered, okay? So 2-to-1, longer back, shorter through. That's number one. Practice that at home. Then some pace back, equal through. Of course, that pace and how far back and through will fluctuate based on how far the putt is. But you'll start to dial in the pacing of the putter head more so. That usually takes a little bit. And then as you start getting comfortable with that, start holding that finish and kind of reacting to that shoulder. Start sensing that left shoulder down. Start sensing that left shoulder not wanting to pop up and not wanting to let the head move back away. I think the centerness of contact will improve. It'll feel like you're hitting down on it, that ball will come off much cleaner and faster. And then as you dial those things in, I think that's gonna help you a ton. Let me know if you have any questions.